Hey, man.
Could you tell me you're shooting?
Oh.
Yes. Perfect.
I was like, eee! There you are.
I just assumed you had your
my
shit
old
on because you were
friend.
shooting.
That's what happens when you shoot suppressed all the time.
You want- Are you shooting?
Ready.
5, 4, 3.
Oh, that sounds so sick.
Doubles.
All right, shooter ready?
Ready.
5, 4, 3. Shooter ready? 5, 4.
I got too excited, my bad.
Yeah. Are you do you have yours on for this?
Yeah, my camera, yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure you're getting a little bit with it. All right, shooter ready?
Ready.
5, 4, 3.
Good afternoon, guys. It's your homeboy LocsNLoadFirearms Reviews here today. Today, guys, we got a review on an Lpvo, a low power variable optic. If you've never heard of these, what they do is basically they are an optic that allows you to dial down to a 1x, not a true 1x, but close enough, and be able to dial out to, on this particular model, a 6x. So you can really reach out to about 600 yards and be able to accurately hit targets. So this particular model was sent to me by Primary Arms. Full disclosure, I didn't pay for it. They sent it to me for review because Dimitri's awesome. So shout out Dimitri. But yeah, this was sent to me by Primary Arms, and they did send the mount, which is an American Defense 30mm QD mount. So what we're gonna do, guys, before we step into this review, as I like to start doing on my channel, we're gonna cleanse this particular product of any kind of negative energy, and we're gonna put good energy into it, and we're gonna start the review. All right, now that the scope is cleansed and the energy is good, guys, I am happy to do this review because not only do I think Primary Arms is awesome, but they are awesome. And this scope right here, the Primary Arms 1-6 Raptor, is awesome. And that's for a variety of reasons, and you're gonna find out by checking this review. Just right off the bat though, the thing that I like about Primary Arms is that they are good to my bank account. Primary Arms does not cost a lot of money, but yet they don't sacrifice on capability. This scope right here, I would completely use for home defense, self-defense. I would use this for competition, all that stuff. You know, I would, if I had to put my life on the line, I would use this. You know, it is a good optic. Granted, if I had a choice of every optic available, I would pick something different. But for the money, this is the best, I think, right now on the market for the money. It's a durable scope. I'm gonna get more into the review, but it's highly rated and it is used by law enforcement. But like I said, I'll get more into that later. Glass and clarity is very clear. It's illuminated. It allows you to dial from 1x to 6x, so you can use from CQB, step out, and be able to hit targets out to 600 yards or even further if you're a capable shooter. Is a first focal plane, so all your holds and windage and elevation and the reticle are gonna stay the same no matter what magnification you have the scope at. Guys, there's a lot more I'm not gonna get into right now. This is just a quick intro. So what we're gonna do is step out to the range, do some shooting, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna check out this scope. And at the end, I'm gonna give my pros and cons like I always like to do. So stick around. It's gonna be a cool video, y'all. Uganda.
it now.
I feel unstoppable. All right, welcome back, guys. So this is the Primary Arms ACSS Raptor. It's a 1:6 variable power optic, and it's sitting on a American Defense mount that was also provided to me by Primary Arms, and it's a quick detach. All right, so guys, we're gonna get into the features of this scope and what you get for the money. So right off the bat is a 1:6 scope, and what that means is that it's a variable power scope. So you're gonna be able to dial this in from 1, which is basically like a red dot, or reflex sight, no magnification. Even though it's a little bit, it's about close to that 1x as you're really gonna get on a scope like this. Then you can dial it out to different ranges, all the way up to 6 power, and you can range and hit targets out and past 600 yards, dependent on of course, the platform that you're mounting the scope on. So, like I said, it is a 1:6 reticle. You use range. The reticle in here is ranged out to 600 yards according to the manual on here. So I'm gonna see if I can get a good. And that's the reticle. Hard to kind of see, but you can kind of see it. I'll put up a picture to show a better detail of that reticle. All right, so guys, what you just saw was the ACSS Raptor reticle, and that reticle is specifically designed to for you to be able to have that horseshoe on there for CQB and quick follow-up shots, and also allows you to range moving targets with that horseshoe and have different holds. You got the chevron tip, which is a infinite MOA. It's not a one MOA because you have that point, so it allows you to get a much more finer point of precision or accuracy, however you want to say, than versus a 1 MOA or 2 MOA dot. So that's what the chevron is. You can also use that for ranging. Coming down, you have the different ranging lines for your bullet drop compensations, and then you have your windage holds off to the side, and that is ranged out to 600 yards. Of course, you can shoot a little farther, but that is dependent on your skill as a shooter. All right, the reticle is also designed for 5.56, 5.45, and 308. They do make this optic for other calibers like 6.5 and others. So if you're going to get an optic, make sure you get the optic that is rated for the caliber that you're going to be shooting. It is a first focal plane scope, which means if you don't know what first focal plane means, it means that your reticle inside your scope, when you zoom into a higher magnification, the reticle will increase in size, but your holds, your bullet drop compensation, all your windage will still remain the same at any given magnification. And that's one of the benefits of a first focal plane over a second focal plane. When you're looking for scopes, Locs, which is better, first focal plane or second focal plane? To be honest, I'm not an expert, but a lot of people try to get first focal plane. So I'm gonna say first focal plane. It has 11 brightness settings, which is over here on the left side of the optic. And it does have the in-betweens in here. So if you want to have your setting on 5 or 4, but you don't want your brightness, your illuminated reticle on, killing your battery, what you can do is put it like an in-between that 5 and 4. So the illumination is off, but you can quickly, bam, in a second, get right back to an illuminated reticle on the setting that you want it on. You don't have to go from 1 and find the perfect setting and then get back into the fight. It uses a CR2032 battery, and if you look in the top turret cap, you get a spare battery. So that's nice that primary arms thought about that, putting a spare battery at the top of the turret of the scope. But well, I got that off. the dials on the scope, they are, as you can see, you can hear the clicks very audible, and it doesn't it's not very hard to move the dials. It's not super smooth, which is not what you want, because you don't want to accidentally lose or go too far or mess up your adjustments. But they are nice and smooth enough and stiff enough that I feel confident that I'm not going to lose my zero. So I probably just messed up my zero by doing that, but whatever. You have the lenses in the scope are multi-coated. That's for the best light transmission, so you can see better. Also with that, the lenses are fog and waterproof, so water and fog is not going to affect your shooting, and you're going to be able to use this in all kinds of conditions and weather. You have a matte black hard anodized finish on a Type 2 single piece 6063 aluminum scope. Like I said, the mount was from American Defense. It is a 30mm mount, so if you're looking for a different type of mount for this scope, it's going to have to be a 30mm mount. Primary Arms was nice enough to send a manual in the box, so if you do get the scope and you have a certain caliber or variety of calibers, on that little manual, it has the calibrations and the holds for different calibers that you might use this scope on. So I suggest you guys take the time to read that manual and check it out. You got lens covers. I took the rear one off because it was kind of getting in the way, but you do have lens covers. You have 50 MOA of elevation adjustment and 50 MOA of elevation adjustment. The scope weighs 17 ounces, is 10.6 inches long. Like I said, it's a 30mm tube. You have about between 4 and 4.3 inches of eye relief. So that's pretty good on a scope. You don't have to get right up on it. You can kind of ease back and get a little bit, not have to strain your neck so much trying to peep through this hole. It's a 1/4 MOA adjustment at 100 yards. This particular model right here is non-NVG compatible or night vision compatible. So unfortunately, guys, if you're trying to run nods with this thing, not this model. They do have other models that are NVG compatible, but you may have to pay more money for that. So take that into consideration. And lastly, this is gold rated by the NTOA, which is National Tactical Officers Association. All right, guys, so that's the features of the scope, and we're getting to, I guess, my favorite part of the channel, where I talk about my thoughts on the firearm. So before we do that, we're going to take a little break, show a little shooting, and we're going to come back to the war table.
5, 4, 3.
I was say you said 2. That's when we fire. So I was waiting for you to say 2.
Like, I know that it's like you hit 3, and I was no, it's like I'll pause then fire.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna wait.
I was waiting for you to say 2, then you kind of said 3 and then fire. I was like, okay, just kind of know after 3, 2.
Yeah. Well, I was just getting there because y'all knew y'all are gonna run it, but we'll do a couple more. All right, I have control. Fire on the TF2. Stand by. 5, 4, 3. 5, 4, 3. 5. Oh.
Reload cover me.
You can, because watching the vapor trails, they're flying in like this and impacting. They're like almost intersecting and impacting the target. It's pretty cool to watch because I can see them. I can watch them both flying in there. 5, 4, 3, 2. This time y'all intersected and you went off the right side, you went off the left side. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yep. 5.
All right, guys, welcome to LocsLoad's thoughts, my pros and cons. All right, guys, so I left off on the features version talking about the NTOA, the National Tactical Officer Association, and how the primary arms 1-6 Raptor was gold rated for that. basically what the NTOA is they test different products and gear and see if it's good enough for use by law enforcement. And the 1-6 Raptor passed those tests, and certain law enforcement units, I think in Pasadena and other cities and states, use the 1-6 primary, the primary arms 1-6 Raptor on their service rifles. So that right there lets you know that this optic is not just some cheap Amazon scope. This is gonna be able to handle, basically, as a civilian, anything you can really throw at it. If it's good enough for law enforcement, then it's good enough for civilians, because most civilians are not running their gear as hard as they really think they are. They're really not. So you don't need $1,000 optic. Most of us, me included, cannot afford $1,000 optic. And to be honest, if I had $1,000 optic, I'd be kind of scared to really use it too much, because I don't want to damage it because it costs so much. But when you spend less than $300 on the optic, I don't care. You know, I'm a run and gun with this. I'm a abuse this. I'm gonna use the scope for what it's been made for. And the fact that the primary arms fits that bill and is still durable enough to handle all that abuse I can give it, perfect. You guys saw all the features of it, so the scope can do a lot. You know, if you're using it as a nighttime, no, you might not be able to use it for night vision, like with your night vision, if you have night vision. I don't. But the fact that I can illuminate the reticle, you know, I can put like a flashlight on it and still be able to see my reticle and shoot at low light or no light situations is still very beneficial to me, and I think to y'all who are looking for, most of y'all are looking for that durable optic to where you can spend $300 and still trust your life to it, and it does everything you need it to do. So guys, like when I get stuff like this, I'm happy to recommend it. When it comes to like really expensive stuff, one, I don't get that stuff, so I can't really review it. So there's that. And two, most people, yeah, they want like that $1,000 Vortex optic, but they just can't afford it. This right here, guys, fits the bill for a lot of y'all, and it fits the bill for me, to be honest. So there's a lot of pros with this optic. The only con, some of the cons, I would say, like if they're like, I'm not too big on them, but if you want some, that the fact that it's not a true 1x, that may come into play for y'all. So there is a little bit of magnification in there. It's not too bad, to be honest. I kind of like the way Lpvos are, because it just gives you such a wide like field of view when you're shooting versus a red dot, that I really don't care for it. You do have to kind of make sure you're centered up on the scope, because it is a scope, so you do have that little shadow to the side if you're not perfectly centered up on the optic. But you know, especially in 1x, sometimes I see it, but it's not that big of a deal. It's only really when you're shooting in awkward positions that you really see the shortcomings of an Lpvo. But again, even in those situations, you can still get the job done. It's just a little bit more trickier using a scope versus like a red dot reflex sight for those awkward positions. I know Lucas T-Rex Arms did something on his Instagram talking about it, so you can check it out there. All right, so use of this optic while shooting. I was able to take this optic out to the range, and we reached out to 300 plus yards with this optic. We were able to do some pretty cool DMR stuff, you know, synchronized shooting, you know, shooting at targets at variable distances. So being able to use the scope in the DMR way that it was kind of made for, because that's what these Lpvos are usually doing. They're kind of set in the DMR role where I can use it for CQB, but if I had to hit a target, no, that it was kind of hard to see at like 400 or 500 yards. You can use this Lpvo, and it's a lot easier than a red dot or a red dot magnifier combo. I've had this scope on this right now on the platform is on now, which I might kind of keep it on, is the Brownells BRN 180. It's 223 Wild, like 5.56 upper, and so far it kind of likes it on this platform. You know, it's accurate, but it was also accurate on the other platform that I did a lot of testing on, which is my 16-inch AR-15 that I got for Mass Defense with the Ballistic Advantage SPR fluted barrel. I don't know if I say 16-inch, but it was a 16-inch barrel, which was in the videos, like you'll see, I was using that primarily on that platform. On this platform, I just slapped it on, and it worked. So I kept it on. It looks pretty cool, and I think this is a pretty cool combo because I got a different scope for the DMR that I'll do a video on some other time in the future. But as far right now on the BRN, it's done fine, and it's a happy camper on the BRN. All right, Locs, I've gone over my pros, I've gone over cons. What else? Well, I mean, I haven't had any kind of problems with it. The dials and elevation and windage, they all work fine. I use really the reticle for any kind of elevation or windage holes, and the reticle works perfect. You know, Dimitri does a great job when he's making these reticles. I love the ACSS reticle. It's absolutely perfect in my eyes. He has other reticles which also are, again, perfect, very good detail, and all the ranging and the holds work excellent. You know, like I was saying, we were able to do synchronized shooting out to 200-300 plus yards, and I was using the holds on the scope, and they were working straight and true as they should. So again, guys, I don't want to keep you here too long and repeat myself too much. I think you guys kind of got the whole point. This is a good optic at a good price that will do basically anything that you will need it to. If it's good for SWAT and law enforcement, and you're just one of those people that really you're not doing that, or even if you are doing all that shooting, this is still a very good optic to have. This will do everything you need it to, and it will not break the bank. And I don't think, as a shooter who's not rich, I don't think we can ask for much more than that. So guys, that is the 1-6 ACSS Raptor. I probably keep saying the name wrong, but it is what it is. It's the ACSS Raptor reticle is in here, which is why it's called the 1-6 Raptor. I just say ACSS. But check it out, Primary Arms, guys. I will have a link somewhere. I don't know if I can have it in the description box. I will probably have to link you to my website, and there you can get this optic, and you can rock out from there. But guys, if you're looking to support the channel in other ways, like I said, the website is basically the hub for anything Locs and Load. If you want to get t-shirts, stickers, support the channel that way with merch, you can go to the website. If you want to find instructors for training that I think are reputable and recommend, you get that there too. If you want to join USCCA and get some concealed carry insurance for you, your family, and your firearms, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, guys, because in a self-defense shooting, not only is it scary and dangerous, but it is also time-consuming and expensive. So you want to be covered everywhere. You know, dot your I's, cross your T, cover your butt, because nobody else will. Also on there, I got, links to Primary Arms, Optics Planet, and other websites to where you can get this stuff that I review in the channel for yourself. So anyway, guys, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Tell a friend to check out the channel if you like it. And yeah, guys, Waganda, Locs and Load out.